I'm rating every celebrity chef's signature dish to find out which one's the greatest of all time. On today's episode, we're looking at a dish from half chef, half scientist, Heston Blumenthal. The year was 1992, and years before the world would know him for his 3 Michelin-star restaurant, The Fat Duck. Heston embarked on a most noble quest to create the perfect chip. He wanted to solve the issue of fried potatoes becoming soggy after resting, to ultimately create a chip that can hold its crunch. After testing everything he possibly could, from different potatoes to different oils and temperatures, he eventually created what he considers his first original recipe: triple cooked chips. The first cook is boiling the potatoes until they're almost falling apart, followed by a cooling phase to remove moisture. The second cook is a fry at low temperature, followed by another cooling phase. And the third cook is a fry at high temperature until they achieve a glass-like crispy crust with a soft, fluffy center. Although it seems really simple, this method was a pretty significant innovation at the time and has now basically become standard practice. So while this would be an S tier for innovation, in terms of it being a dish, it is just basically fried potatoes. So I'm gonna have to give this B tier. I'm testing every celebrity chef's signature dish to see if we can find the greatest of all time. Today we're trying Dragon's Breath chili from the mayor of Flavortown, Guy Fieri. For someone that certainly loves his meat, Guy actually grew up mostly vegetarian. But in an act of defiance, Guy cooked a steak for his vegetable-loving family, which they ended up loving so much that he realized his true calling was to be a chef. Fast forward to 2001, he's selling car parts on TV as a muffler salesman.
Flowmaster delivers true American-built performance.
But then in 2006, he won season 2 of Next Food Network Star, making him the Next Food Network Star. Now back to the chili. The recipe features 3 types of meat, 7 spices, 4 kinds of peppers, tomatoes, beans, beer, chicken stock, and a whole head of garlic, all simmered low and slow and served with fries. So this chili has got a lot of good flavor. It's rich, well seasoned with a spicy kick, and has a nice smokiness sort of reminiscent of a mole sauce. But in my opinion, while it's a great take on a classic dish, it doesn't quite break new ground for me. So I'm placing Guy Fieri's Dragon's Breath chili in B tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at Beef Wellington from the one and only Gordon Ramsay. Everybody knows Gordon as the soft-spoken, very mindful, very demure TV chef.
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
And it may surprise you that the reality is actually very different. He's not just a TV chef, he's a real chef. No, seriously, like he's actually had an incredible career. He apprenticed under Marco Pierre White, Guy Savoy, and Joel Robuchon. And at just 27 years old, he became head chef at Aubergine in London, earning it 2 Michelin stars within 3 years. And at 31, he would open his first restaurant in London, Restaurant Gordon Ramsay, which would go on to earn 3 Michelin stars. You may be wondering, how did he go from that to being on TV? Well, from that very same restaurant is also where his TV career effectively began. He was the subject of the British TV documentary Boiling Point, which followed him during the opening of that very first restaurant. Now back to the Wellington. It tasted like complete dog shit. I'm just kidding. It was really good. There are so many layers of flavor here, and I think the mushroom duxelle really brings it all together. Also, ignore my watery sauce. I try to get extra credit by doing the red wine situation, but swing and a miss. I'm gonna give this dish S tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish to find the greatest dish of all time. This time, we're looking at a dish from the original Spice Girl, Madhur Jaffrey. Much like Julia Child with French food or Marcella Hazan with Italian, Madhur Jaffrey was a pioneer in making Indian cooking more accessible to an international audience. Her cookbook, An Invitation to Indian Cooking, was inducted into the James Beard Cookbook Hall of Fame in 2006. Interestingly, she's never received any sort of formal culinary training. She learned to cook from her mother's letters so that she could recreate the flavors of home while studying abroad. Now today's dish is her rendition of chicken tikka masala. Now, is chicken tikka masala British or Indian? Anyways, her version of this dish is a little different from what I'm used to, but in a good way. It's not very tomato forward or super creamy, which really lets the spices shine. And adding the chicken right at the end allows that nice charred flavor to come through. Maybe not the most unique or complicated dish out there, but I really enjoyed it. So I'm placing this dish in A tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish to find the greatest dish of all time. This time we're trying a dish from the queen of 30-minute meals, Rachael Ray. In the 1990s, Rachael was working at the now extinct Cohen and Lobel market. To boost sales and inspire reluctant cooks, she taught cooking classes on making meals in under 30 minutes. This eventually caught the attention of a local TV station, who invited her to host a weekly 30-minute meal segment.
With the oven on warm, and we're gonna start chopping.
Which quickly gained popularity, received 2 regional Emmy nominations in his first year, and launched her cookbook career. So the dish we have today is her Mexican lasagna. Because when you think lasagna, obviously the first thing that comes to mind is Mexican food. It tastes fine, not bad, but it just doesn't have a lot going on. I think this is great if you're trying to like feed a family or something, but maybe not to impress someone. Sorry Rachel, but I'm placing this dish in C tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at the favorite sandwich of the great Anthony Bourdain. I think everyone can generally agree that this guy was a legend, but did you know that he was a seriously trained martial artist and even competed in jiu-jitsu competitions? So today we have his mortadella sandwich, which is definitely arguable that this is his signature dish, but I've been seeing it everywhere, so I wanted to give it a try, and boy am I glad I did. It's just really good, and definitely the best way to eat a whole pack of mortadella in one sitting. For being max in the flavor and min on the work, I'm giving this an A tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at a dish from the great Italian cookbook author, Marcella Hazan. Born in 1924 in a small town near Bologna, Marcella definitely faced her share of early challenges, one of which was getting arrested by Nazis on suspicion of murdering a mustached German officer because of a skull she had for an anatomy course she was taking. When she eventually found herself in New York City, she was bamboozled by the American interpretation of Italian food. Wanting good food but with nowhere to get it, she had no other choice but to start learning to make it herself. On this journey, one cuisine she really enjoyed was Chinese food, so she started taking Chinese cooking classes. But when the instructor had to leave, her classmates asked her to start teaching them Italian food instead. This opportunity eventually led to a meeting with Craig Claiborne of the New York Times, who would help publish her influential cookbook. And from that very same cookbook, we have today's dish, her signature bolognese. The recipe is extremely simple, and it's reasonable to have a little bit of skepticism when looking at the ingredient list. But trust me, don't eyeball, don't substitute, just follow what she says, and you are in for a treat. Personally, this is the best bolognese I've ever had, and I really like bolognese. I have to give this S tier. It is so good, and you should try it out for yourself. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're judging a dish from a judge who judges other dishes on TV, Chef Aaron Sanchez. You may recognize him as one of the judges on MasterChef, but today he's the one getting judged by someone completely unqualified to do so, me. In 1976, Mr. Sanchez was born in Chihuahua, Mexico to a strong, food-loving family, with his mother, Zarela Martinez, being a renowned restaurateur. He started cooking pretty early, and by 16, he was learning under renowned Cajun and Creole chef Paul Prudhomme. He would go on to have a very impressive TV career, a highlight of which is appearing on Season 2 of Iron Chef America, and being one of the only chefs to have a draw by tying Iron Chef Masaharu Morimoto. These days, he's currently the executive chef of Mexican restaurant Johnny Sanchez in New Orleans. Today's dish is his version of mole. For how much work is involved in making this and how awesome the ingredients seemed, I'm a little disappointed. It's rich and flavorful, but I think the tomatillos overpower everything else, and it could maybe use a little bit more chocolate. Maybe I messed up somehow, so let me know if that's the case. I feel bad about doing this, but I'm gonna place this in C tier and move Rachael down to D. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at a creation by Food Network star Giada De Laurentiis. Born in 1970 in Rome, Giada's cooking style draws heavy inspiration from her Italian roots. And although she's mainly known for her appearances on the Food Network as the host of shows like Giada at Home and Everyday Italian, she's actually a professionally trained chef and studied at Le Cordon Bleu in Paris, originally with aspirations of becoming a pastry chef. She's also worked in several restaurants, one of which is the Wolfgang Puck-owned Spago. Her career on the Food Network began in 2002 when she was discovered by a network executive after an article about her family appeared in Food & Wine magazine. Fun fact, she is the granddaughter of famous Italian film producer Giada De Laurentiis, who helped produce King Kong, Conan the Barbarian, and Flash Gordon. Now today's dish is her lemon spaghetti, and I thought it tasted pretty good. Perfect for a quick and easy weeknight dinner, but I think that's pretty much all it is. It's kind of boring to be completely honest. It also makes pretty terrible leftovers. I'm gonna give this C tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at a dish from Mr. Bam Bam himself, Emeril Lagasse. If you don't know what I'm talking about, here you go. Emeril's culinary journey begins at 10 years old, washing dishes for $1 an hour at a local bakery. Growing up, Emeril was also a talented drummer, even earning a scholarship to the New England Conservatory of Music. But instead of music, he chose the kitchen, enrolling in a local university culinary program. Fast forward to 1982, at just 23 years old, Emeril took over as the executive chef of the historic Commander's Palace in New Orleans, succeeding the renowned Paul Prudhomme. A couple years later, Emeril would open his first restaurant, the creatively named Emeril's, which earned Esquire's Restaurant of the Year. Soon after, the Food Network reached out and offered a most compelling show, How to Boil Water. So today's dish is his chicken and smoked sausage gumbo. This was excellent. It's actually kind of a hard dish to make as there are a couple things you have to get right. The roux needs to get to the right color, which takes a while, and the stock needs to be added slowly while stirring so the roux doesn't break. If you get past those hurdles, then this is an awesome dish. My only complaint is that I think a seafood version might be even better. I'm placing this dish in A tier. I'm trying every celebrity chef's signature dish, and today we're taking a look at a dish from multiple James Beard Award-winning chef Marcus Samuelsson. The year was 1971, and Marcus was born in rural Ethiopia in a hut the size of 2 restaurant tables. At around 2.5 years old, Marcus and his sister were separated from their birth family and adopted by a Swedish couple who raised them in Gothenburg. Marcus would gain a love for cooking from his grandmother Helga and attended the Culinary Institute of Gothenburg. After a series of apprenticeships, he was offered a job as sous chef of Swedish restaurant Aquavit in New York City and came to the US with only $300 to his name. Just 2 months into the job, the head chef unexpectedly passed away. Marcus was then promoted and soon became the youngest chef to ever receive a 3-star review from the New York Times. Fast forward to 2010, and Marcus opens his flagship restaurant in Harlem, Red Rooster. And from Red Rooster, we have today's dish, his signature fried yardbird. There are 3 things I really love about this recipe: the use of semolina flour as part of the dredge, the use of coconut milk as part of the marinade, and the use of Ethiopian seasoning to flavor the chicken. And all those things together make for a crispy, juicy, and flavorful final product that is among the most delicious fried chicken I've ever had. As for the rating, I've decided to stop doing that. Hopefully you'll still stick around.